So what do? You're at school, you're at college, at universities, at work, in a social situation, and somebody asks you a question about Judaism. Do you answer it if you know the answer? My reply would be no. Don't answer any questions about the Jewish religion. Refer these people to Jews for Judaism. Refer these people to Google. Tell them, I'm not interested in talking about, religion. It doesn't interest me. I don't like talking about religion. Can you just go Google your question, because you'll get a more comprehensive answer from Google or Jews for Jesus than I can give you. I'm just not interested. This will puzzle them. They will persist again. They will want to know why. You must repeat again, I'm not interested. I don't like talking about religion. And you must stand firm and keep repeating the same statement. They will look puzzled. They will be wanting to getting you to elaborate. Don't elaborate. Just keep repeating you're not interested. Go to Google your question. Now, this is probably, you might think, lying, but in Judaism, you can lie to save life, protect life, and preserve life. And this is about protecting your soul. This is about protecting and preserving your soul. Because in my 42 years as a Jewish believer in Jesus, I was only ever asked once one question in 42 years about Judaism. And when I answered that one question in 42 years, do you know what happened? They turned to the Christian missionary in the room and repeated the question to the Christian missionary. They didn't believe my answer. And I said to them, why are you asking the missionary? I'm Jewish. And they just look at me like, you get nowhere. So the evangelical Christians have been told by their churches, when you're engaging with a Jewish person, you must be sensitive, you must be careful, you must be diplomatic, you mustn't offend the Jew. So what you do is start asking them about the religion, right? You think you tell them about your religion in order to educate them about your religion, because we're told in society, we must understand each other's faith. Let me tell you, the evangelical Christian is not the slightest bit interested in understanding anything about Judaism. And I'm speaking from 42 years of experience. They are not interested. I can't begin to tell you how not interested they are. And the reason why they're not interested is they presume, particularly those people that claim to love the Jews, and the Prayer for Israel people and all these people, they already think they know everything. And they are unwilling to learn from any Jew. They are unwilling to learn from any Jew. They have a Jew in front of them and they won't believe the answer given to them by a Jew. They will go to the non-Jewish missionary and ask the same question again. It is so rude and so insulting. And you have to understand, it doesn't matter how plausible it sounds. You might think they genuinely want to know about your religion, but they're asking these questions or any question, in order to start a discussion, a religious discussion, because they're going to start ask questions about the Messiah. They're going to say, how do you know your sins are forgiven in Judaism? How do you know this? How do you know that? It's deliberate. It's a strategy to instigate a religious discussion. What I would say to you is never have a religious discussion about Judaism with anybody. Don't get into any discussion. If you don't know if they're a Christian or not, don't go there. Do not get involved. Don't get into any discussion about your religion. It's not your duty to inform them about your religion. If they want to know about your religion, they can Google the question. They can go for Jews for Judaism. But I just want to emphasize to you that this is a technique that they use to try and get to build a relationship with the Jewish person, to show that they're interested in Judaism, but they are not interested in Judaism. They have basically contempt for it. Most evangelical Christians have contempt for Judaism. They have contempt for the rabbis. They have contempt for the Talmud. You have to realise this. They're not the slightest bit interested in learning anything about Judaism, because I've not been asked the questions. 42 years, as a Jewish believer in Jesus. So don't get yourself involved in a conversation with any non-Jew about in religious conversations. You want to walk away. You want to change the subject. You want to say, I'm not interested in talking about my faith. I don't like talking about religion. And you have to keep repeating it over and over again. They will look puzzled. They will argue with you. But if you want to protect yourself and of the manipulations of evangelical Christians, because they are and can be quite manipulative, no matter how nice they seem, they excel at manipulation. And the second thing you must never do is confide your personal problems to somebody who you know is an evangelical Christian. Do not go there. Do not go there. I would say you do not want to get into a personal, close relationship with an evangelical Christian, because the only reason they're interested in being friends with you is to convert you. You have to realise they are on a mission to convert everybody, including the Jew, and the Jew is the icing on the cake. They want to lead you to Jesus so they can go back to the church and say, I've led a Jewish person to believe in Jesus. And then everybody will praise them and say how wonderful they are. They've been called by God, and you've been called to mission to the Jewish people. You have to realise that the Jew is being used by the Christian for their own agenda, for puffing themselves up, for going back to the church. Look at me, I've converted a Jew, And so you have to understand they're interested in saving souls, and they're obsessed with the Jewish people, and if they are keen to use any tactic and any means, whether you've got a problem at home, problem in your marriage, you're not well, do not go telling them all about your personal life because they seem so kind and sympathetic and understanding. I would say do not go there. Do not go there, because they will have taken advantage of you. And I'm speaking from decades of experience, because these people are so driven, they are so compelled, that whilst they might be interested in your problem and appear sympathetic, they're going to use this to try and get you to develop a friendship of a kind, so that you will listen to their spiel about Jesus being the Messiah. So I would say don't develop close friendships with anybody who is an evangelical Christian. It doesn't matter how nice they are, how much you get on with them. I would advise you to keep a certain degree of distance. I really, really would. Be very, 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 very careful, because they are out on a mission to convert the Jew. Jews for Jesus are going into the churches. All the Christian ministries are going into evangelical churches, and they're actively encouraging people to develop friendships, not only with and tell people about Jesus, not only, non-Christians, but particularly Jewish people. And so they will be thrilled to bits to be friends with you. But you have to realise they do have an agenda, and this is what it's all about. And you have to convey to them very strongly, repeatedly, again and again, I'm not interested, I don't talk about my faith, I don't talk about Judaism, I'm not interested in hearing about Jesus. If at any time they say to you, I feel I must tell you so and so about Jesus or their religious faith or anything like that, put your foot down and put your hands up and say, can I stop you there, please? I don't want to discuss or hear about your religious faith. I don't talk religion with friends or colleagues or acquaintances. I don't want to hear about your faith. I don't want to hear about your faith or what Jesus means to you or that you think he's the Messiah or anything like that. You actually have got to be quite firm and put your foot down. And don't think this is bad manners. It's not bad manners. What you do is setting boundaries, very firm boundaries, by your tone of voice and by your attitude, that they know they cannot cross that line. You have to teach people how to treat you. You have to teach them how to treat you. Because if you are firm and consistent and keep repeating, I don't want to talk about it, I'm not interested in hearing about your conversion experience or anything, they will perhaps be offended. But tough. You have the right to say, I'm not interested. You have the right to say, I'm not interested, just as they have the right to say to you, I'm not interested in hearing about your argument with your boyfriend. You set the boundaries as to what you're prepared to talk about in your friendships and contacts with people. You don't have to go into long explanations and justify yourself. Just keep repeating again, I'm not interested. I don't like talking about religion. I don't want to talk about Judaism. I'm not interested in hearing about what Jesus means to you or anything like that. And, I think in this day and age, quite honestly, because they are on the march again, Evangelical Christians, they are very determined they're on a mission to convert, particularly the Jew. I don't think these days you should be looking to have a close relationship with a born-again Christian, with any Christian. I think you have to be very, 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 very careful. And a lot of people will say this is racist, this is prejudice, but you have to protect your soul and you have to protect your spirit and your mind, because these people can be very, very manipulative. And you're thinking, they can't manipulate me. Oh, yes, they can. Oh, yes, they can. They can, because they catch you at a weak moment. And we all have weak moments. And that's what they're preying on. They're preying on, and they're waiting for a time when you lose a parent. They're waiting for you to get cancer. They're waiting for you for somebody to die, because this is the time when they know that you are vulnerable and you'll be questioning the meaning of life and things like that. And that's where they can get in there. It is a fact. The Church of England has done research, and the evidence is they've done the work, and they say the evidence is that most people who come to believe in Jesus come to that faith through personal relationships, through friendships, through acquaintances, through people at work, through people at university, college, school, social activities. This is where people are being converted. They're not being converted in mission tents, Billy Graham and all these crusades. No, they're being converted by friends and acquaintances. And this is why you have to be on your guard. You really have to be on your guard. And find yourself somebody else. Find another friend. But don't get close to an evangelical Christian. Don't go there. Put the shutters up. Walk away. You're not interested. You're busy. Once you start, you will come up with lots of lies, and don't worry about it. You're not doing anything wrong. You are protecting and preserving your soul. You're protecting and preserving your mind, because contrary to what you think, we're all vulnerable. We are all vulnerable, and you don't want to put yourself at risk. So the safest thing is to walk away. Don't get involved. Anything they want to know about Judaism, they can Google it. You can find anything and everything on Google, and this is your great get out clause. And don't get involved in chat rooms, nothing. Don't go there. The Christian isn't interested in learning about Judaism. They're interested in converting you to either Messianic Judaism or Christianity, which are identical and exactly the same, because both religions worship Jesus. And You as a Jew know that you shall only worship the Lord your God and no one. You don't worship a man, you don't worship idols, you have nothing to do with human sacrifice. And this is what Christianity and Messianic Judaism is all about. It's about human sacrifice, worshipping Jesus, and believing that God takes flesh. And you know that this is the complete and absolute opposite of Judaism. So walk away. Don't get involved. Don't get involved. Once you start doing it, you will feel empowered and you'll feel very pleased with yourself. Don't feel guilty and keep on doing it. The more you do it, the more you start feeling, you feel great actually, because you suddenly realise I'm in control here. I don't have to listen to people going on and on about this, that, the other, and and you're just putting up with it. You don't have to put up with it. You don't have to put up with it. Assert yourself with the things that I have suggested.